Ken Godshell was here as their permanent pastor for about, I think he was here for 8 years. And a wonderful, wonderful pastor. And prior to him leaving, I found out that Central Presbyterian signed up to be a Matthew 25 church. So of course, about this time, COVID hit. And now it's that question, what does that mean to live into being a Matthew 25 church? One of the ways that we started doing that is we began a Spanish ministry here. And so for about 20 years, there are about 300 migrant workers that come into Princeton and the surrounding communities. And so we started having a Spanish worship service that ran during the agricultural season. And it was amazing. I worked with Reverend Rosa Miranda at the general office with Hispanic Ministries, and she helped me and walked with me through this. We were able to take some of the devotions that Reverend Godshell did for our radio ministry here. That's the beauty of being in a rural community, that there's a radio station here. And so we took those, we translated into Spanish, and we gave those out.
As Christians, we all have in our heart the desire to fight against racism, to eradicate poverty, to reach out to others. But sometimes it's difficult to know how to start, where to start. And I was an elder in this church many years ago, and I was responsible for a mission committee, and month after month, I had nothing to report, nothing. But then we started very small, and I think that's what Matthew 25 is. We started very small, very modest. And what amazed me was the response of the church, of our congregation. They were all in, each time. Each time we came up with something, they were all in. And that was such a blessing.
I believe in part Central Presbyterian was already living out Jesus' call to serve the poor, the imprisoned, and the hungry. But what this initiative helps us to do is to name and claim and to connect the dots for what we are doing with the biblical mandate in Matthew 25. To do these things in Jesus' name.
Now, we decided, the mission committee adopted it and the session approved it sometime for us to call ourselves a Matthew 25 church. And Jesus said something like this, "For as you've done it to the least of them, my brethren, you've done it unto me." And I think that tells us how important mission is, and a lot of times how we like to keep helping everyone and to be sure that we're playing a role in that.
I don't think anyone, I certainly did not, I don't think anyone envisioned what we have happened here in Princeton in this last year. We've been doing some new things, but we also had a big surprise. So the Spirit of God showed us new opportunities and how to help even more people in need. This past year, one of our families lost their son to COVID. And so in that response, while grieving and walking with them in their journey, we saw an opportunity to do something, to be the hands and feet, to do tangible things. And we brought in a mobile vaccine clinic. And our hope was to be able to maybe make a difference, and for families in our community not to have to experience burying a child too soon.
Here with the tornado, we definitely can see what it means to be a Matthew 25 church, to be able to reach out to those who are hurting, to be able to be the hands and feet of Christ. This requires not only a listening ear, but it also requires having supplies and feeding people and being able to have chainsaws and be able to take rubbish away so that families can come in and to find their things from their homes. But I've just learned that It takes a lot of space, it takes a lot of people, it takes a lot of manpower. It also takes a lot of organization. We just visited Gather in Maine. It's a restaurant owned by one of our members. Santa Claus was there with the children, and Santa Claus lost his house. And to be able to have that information, to be able to have what is going on in this community, to be able to help manage that, because this is, as everyone says, this is a journey. And to be able to know right at your fingertips of what's needed in a community is so important. We have the sign now out front. We have another sign in the back. And so it's always a question, well, how long will we keep the signs out? I think this is probably going to be permanently placed here to recognize that this church, which is downtown Princeton, and with a big steeple, that we represent Christ in the world. We represent God.
I don't believe that Jesus had a quota on who he served and how many he served. He just saw a need, and he met that need. This too is how we believe, how we live out the spirit of Matthew 25.